Hi, I'm Rob.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Rob and Rob.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Ask Rob and Rob. It's a Tuesday. We've got 2 questions. Unfortunately, 2 answers as well. They're going up in a moment, but before we do, let's give you a quick reminder on how you can get on the show.
Yep, all you have to do is give us a call on 013 808 0035. That's 013 808 0035. You can leave us a message there, or you can do exactly the same thing by going to thepropertyhub.net/ask. When you do, all you've got to do is tell us your question, but also tell us your name. Otherwise, we'll make one up for you. So today's first question, I've decided, has come in from PJ.
Hi, Rob and Rob. Just want to say thank you very much for all the free knowledge you're giving, and keep up the good work. Fantastic source of information. My question for you this week is, we're talking about the ripple effect and the northern cities gaining some capital growth. I invest in the northeast, and property prices are still sub 2007 prices, so before the crash. Just wondering whether you're expecting that cities such as Newcastle and Middlesbrough to see any capital growth after the mid-cycle wobble. Thanks very much.
Great question, PJ. Love questions like this, and it's great to hear that you, and I'm sure many other people, are starting to think about the ripple effect. I know Rob and I certainly are, and we'll podcast on that in the coming weeks. So the northeast in particular, what's happening? Well, not a lot, as you've rightly pointed out. Prices in most areas haven't recovered from the 2007 levels. So does that mean it's done, dusted, and never to grow again? No, far from it. It's just not had its turn yet. Now, of all the areas in the northeast, the only one of real interest to me at the moment is Newcastle. It's not to say there are other areas I wouldn't look at. Sunderland is an area that I will keep an eye on because prices are so low still and yields are actually quite attractive. But beyond Newcastle, sort of the prime area of the northeast for property, personally, I wouldn't be venturing much further afield just now. Now, if you get into places like Middlesbrough, Sunderland, and the outskirts of Newcastle, will you see growth? Yes, I'm certain of it. At some point in the future, you will. I just think it's possibly a little early. If you don't mind being early and you're happy with the returns you get there, then go ahead. But if you're looking for capital growth, then you may want to just wait a little bit longer before you plough in.
Okay, I hope that helps, PJ. Now let's move on to our second question. This one comes in from Pete.
Hi, Rob and Rob. Thanks for a great podcast. I've only recently come across it. Lots of great information. My name's Pete. I've got 4 properties in my portfolio. 2 I own outright and 2 with only 50% mortgages against them. So I've got plenty of equity in there to potentially expand my portfolio. I'm just a little bit worried about the changes in the tax rules around the interest not being a tax-deductible expense. So just thinking about my route to expanding my portfolio, whether to go down the limited company route. When I look into that, whilst the interest being a tax-deductible expense and the corporation tax only being 19%, surely when you actually come to extract your profits from your business, you're also then subject to your personal tax rates on the dividend you pay yourself, apart from, I think it's about £2,000 dividend that's tax-free. So wouldn't you be getting taxed twice on your profits? If you can give me any clarification on that, I would much appreciate it. Thanks very much.
Thank you for the question, Pete. And yes, you're absolutely right. If you do hold property in a company, that company makes money, then you go to extract those profits. You will pay 2 different forms of tax. You'll pay the corporation tax within the company, and then you'll pay tax personally on the dividends that you take out. So yeah, absolutely right there. And that's why, as a very general rule of thumb, we've said in the past that investing in a company is more likely to be appropriate for somebody who either doesn't have another source of income or who isn't going to want to take the profits out of the company personally until they don't have another source of income. So if you're happy to just let those profits build up within the company and then reinvest those to buy other properties, and then it's not till you retire and you don't have a job, an income coming in that way until you actually want to take the money out, that would mean that you'd only pay the corporation tax and not the tax on the dividends. That is, though, just a general rule of thumb, and there are so many different factors to take account of, including the difference in the mortgage rate between limited companies and individuals, and the amount of other income you've got, and the exit strategy that you're looking at. It makes it impossible to give a one-size-fits-all answer. So that's why it's a really good idea to have a basic understanding of all the different factors, and then go and talk to an accountant. It's important to understand the basics yourself first, so you'll understand the answer that you're given, and you can challenge challenge that answer and ask some questions and have confidence that what you're being told to do is the right thing. But chances are you're not going to be able to confidently come to the right answer for yourself without a bit of professional help. So we've got Property Hub Tax, which we set up for this exact reason, and they go through this exercise with multiple people every single day. So if you want to speak to Property Hub Tax, you can find out more at thepropertyhub.net/tax. But if you've got an accountant who you work with already, then you can run it by them. And even if they're not a property specialist, you'll be able to validate the answer that they give you and the logic that they walk you through by having this understanding. We've talked about tax quite a lot on the podcast over the last couple of years. So if you go to thepropertyhub.net/podcast, type tax into the search box, you'll find plenty that you'll be able to use to develop your knowledge.
Well, luckily those two questions weren't too taxing for us. And we'll be back next week with some answers and probably some also bad jokes. And don't forget to listen to the main event this Thursday, the Property Podcast. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.